Welcome back for another episode of Dish in the Dirt, brought to you by Garage16. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm your other host, Vince. We have another wicked show coming up, including your regular dose of Speedway news, presented this time by the man everyone knows and loves, Stu Russell. We have a brand new and exciting game show called Speedway Yes Way, and to top it off, we have the 1, 2, and 3 NZ from the Modify class on our couch, letting us ask them all the hard questions that you won't want to miss.
Sounds like an awesome show coming up, but there's one thing we have to do before we dive in, and that's find out the winner of last show's giveaway.
That's right, on the last show we asked you to let us know what your favourite Speedway was and why, for your chance to win a Speedway pass to that very Speedway.
Yep, and you all turned out in force with a huge amount of entries, but there can be only one winner, and that winner is William Evans.
Congratulations, William. You have won yourself a season pass to your favourite Speedway, Coken Woodford Glen. We'll get in touch with you and get that sent out straight away.
Yeah, and we contacted Steve Lennon, the promoter of Woodford Glen, earlier in the day to buy a season pass for our winner, and you won't believe what he's done for us. He's insisted on giving it to us to give to William.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much to Steve and Coken Woodford Glen for your support and giving us the season pass to hand over to our winner, William Evans. I'm sure he'll be stoked.
With COVID once again rocking the headlines everywhere you look, wouldn't it be nice to watch some news about some Speedway stuff that was actually fun to hear and not full of doom and gloom?
Yes, it would. And who better to bring you that news than a man with a voice like audible butter, the one and only, the man everyone knows, the Speedway presenter, Stu Russell.
Welcome to Dishing the Dirt News, I'm Stu Russell. The Rotorua stock car and superstock teams have waved the Confederate flag at their race meetings for the last time. After the global outrage caused by the death of George Floyd and the resulting Black Lives Matter movement, the club has decided it's best to change the flag, as its use has drawn a lot of criticism in recent times. The Rotorua stock car and superstock teams used it to acknowledge the battles that come with teams racing and to represent the courage of their drivers. Race relations conciliator Meng Foon expressed concern of its use by the Rotorua teams the day after NASCAR banned it from being used at its race meetings. Rotorua have made the decision to get rid of it and have released a new one. Bill Buckley has spoken out in an interview with the New Zealand Herald recently after Regional Facilities Auckland decided against renewing his contract as the promoter of Western Springs, a contract he had held for nearly 2 decades. The tender was awarded to Palmerston North and Waikaraka promoter Bruce Robertson, who has the lease for 2 years. Buckley was unimpressed with the decision and how it was handled, and he had a dire warning for the Speedway community in New Zealand. Despite Regional Facilities Auckland making an agreement to keep the decision quiet before notifying all parties, Buckley was dumbfounded to hear his office girl had found out before he had. He said she had talked to Bruce Robertson, who said he definitely had it. So she rang me while the council was talking to me and said she knew. In their press release, Regional Facilities Auckland didn't mention Buckley or his contribution to the sport or the city even once. He also expressed his frustration at Regional Facilities Auckland's decision to go ahead with the tender process despite the hugely unpredictable economic climate caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and slammed them for making everything as impossible as they possibly could for Speedway in Auckland. That leads on to the dire warning he has for the Speedway community. He said, "I don't think Speedway will be around for much longer," and pointed to the lack of support Speedway gets, especially from local councils. He then went on further to say they've done everything in their power to make Speedway as unpresentable as possible, referring to the council's supposed attempts to push the sport out of the city. Bill Buckley runs Speedway in Tauranga, and as a New Zealand rich lister, he has plenty of other ventures to move on with. With the number of spectators attending Speedway each weekend outdoing the numbers that get along to Super Rugby matches, it's a mystery as to why some local councils in New Zealand want to force the sport out of their cities. Now to some news out of the US. Tyler Erb and Bob Pierce Sr. were handed down a sentence each last week after their antics at Cedar Lake Speedway during the World of Outlaws Late Model Series. Tyler Erb was sitting in the 4th position and spun out in a corner after some contact from Bobby Pierce, who was running in 5th place. During the resulting yellow flag, Tyler Erb rammed into Bobby Pierce's left rear, purposefully trying to give him a flat tyre so he couldn't finish the race. Then turned around, went backwards and ran into Pierce again during the yellow. They were parked nose to nose on the track, with Erb telling Pierce to get out of his car for a fight. When asked about his actions later, Erb said, "The only intention I had out there was to stop Bobby on the racetrack so he couldn't finish the race and be the one mother that's going to whoop his." He went on further, "I was going to whoop his up and down the racetrack. I'll do it here, at a truck stop, anywhere he wants to do it." As you can imagine, Bobby's crew chief and father Bob Pierce Sr. was not happy with what he saw, so entered the track and confronted Erb. He got to Erb's window and reached in to take the wheel as Erb drove off, knocking a race official to the ground. These actions breached serious safety rules and was considered to be extremely unsportsmanlike of both Tyler Erb and Bob Pierce Sr. Along with a $5,000 fine, Erb has been indefinitely suspended from all World of Outlaw events.
He turns it into demo derby, and maybe if he owned all that stuff, he'd be more appreciative of it like I am, but that's what happens when you race for a team, and that's what happens when your parents just have all the money in the world. I guess you never care for your stuff, never care for anybody else, and that's the way his mind works. So I think a guy like that doesn't need to be racing with us.
In other news, the 50th annual World 100 at Eldora Speedway, scheduled for early September, has been called off. An event that many consider to be the most prestigious for dirt late models in the US, the World 100 wouldn't have been allowed any spectators at the track if it was to go ahead due to COVID-19 restrictions in the States. The famous event will now have to wait until 2021 to hold its diamond anniversary. Eldora Speedway and their official live streaming partner Flow Racing are collaborating to present the Intercontinental Classic in its place, an invitational non-spectator event with all the great names from dirt late models so that Speedway fans can still get their Speedway fix. For Dishing the Dirt News, I am Stu Russell.
You know, I thought we could get away from all the COVID stuff, but, you know, it appeared up in the news there.
Yeah, well, it's quite topical at the moment, especially in the US, where speedways are shutting down left, right and centre, but we'll be fine here in New Zealand for the start of the new season, I'm sure.
That's the one, optimistic thinking. And what better way to get more optimistic thinking flowing than with a brand new game show?
A new game show? Tell me more.
Okay, people love Speedway, right?
They do.
And they love game shows, right?
They do.
So what if there was a game show about Speedway?
Yes way.
Speedway Yes Way! We've gathered up 3 super fans of Speedway to go head to head in the newest and most exciting game show to rock the world, Speedway Yes Way.
They're competing for a massive basket full of car care products, junk food, beer and the world's finest champagne, Moet. On top of that, they'll also win a season pass to their favourite Speedway. Talk about a prize pack.
That's going to be one hell of a haul for whoever wins that. I can't wait. Let's get into it. Here it is, Speedway Yes Way!
Speedway
Yes, let's get out on the dirt and have a show. Speedway. Ooh, yes, let's start all the things that you love.
Welcome to Speedway Yes Way, your newest and greatest and most favourite game show all about Speedway. I'm Vince, your host, and let's meet our three guests. We've got three amazing fans who've joined us today. First we have Bevan. What are some of your hobbies?
Coach rugby, also race a bit of remote control car racing, Speedway mainly. So
Perfect. And what do you love most about Speedway?
basically just the racing, a bit of the contact classes mainly.
You like the contact?
Love it.
So anything to do with stock cars and super stocks, you love it?
Absolutely.
Excellent. That's why he's got a Young Guns t-shirt on there. And on to our next super fan, Kat. Kat, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, not too bad.
Excellent. And what's your favourite thing about Speedway?
The atmosphere.
You love the atmosphere. How would you describe the atmosphere at Speedway?
On a good night, it's amazing. Kids love it. Like, there's nothing better.
And what do you do for a living, Kat?
I run inwards goods and storeroom.
Excellent. I have no idea what that means.
Forklift driver, unloading and loading trucks.
Oh, excellent. I love to hear. And lastly, another super fan, Steve. How are you tonight?
Good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Awesome.
And what do you love most about Speedway?
Oh, mate, I've been involved with it since I was a little fella. I just love everything, mate. Doesn't matter what class it is.
Oh, perfect. And who do you think's the weakest link here tonight?
Probably me.
You?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about you, Kat? Who do you think's going to lose?
Oh yeah, probably me as well.
Oh, that's full of confidence here. Evan, are you going to lose as well?
Hopefully not if they're going to lose.
Excellent. All right, unless we have one winner tonight. Let's get on with the first round, heat number 1. Heading into heat 1. Are you ready?
Yep.
That's the spirit. All right. Question number 1. Which of these drivers is not a Speedway driver? Is it A, Michael Pickens, B, Greg Murphy, or Bevan?
It's Greg Murphy.
Ah, yes way! Well done. Question number 2. Which is the correct spelling for this sudden death styled race? Is it A, or is it B, or is it C? Ah, Steve first.
C.
Yes way! Question number 3. Kyle is an ex-NASCAR driver who is now dominating in World of Outlaws. What is his last name? Yes, Bevan.
Larson.
Ah, no. No, that's not the answer, Bevan. Because the answer is either A, B, or C.
A.
Is it A?
A. Do you want to redo that one and I'll go A?
No, Bevan. You've deducted 10 points.
Oh.
So let's start that again. Kyle is an ex-NASCAR driver who is currently dominating World of Outlaws. What is his last name? Steve.
Larson. A.
I'm afraid you went with Larson A. That is not the correct answer. Let's start that again, and we only have Kat. Kyle is an ex-NASCAR driver that now dominates the World of Outlaws. Kat!
Hey!
That is the correct answer! Well done, Kat. Alright, Kat, that means you're winning on 10 and the others are on 0.
Whoop whoop.
Question number 4. What's the most common track surface in New Zealand? Steve.
C. Clay.
I'm afraid C, clay, is incorrect. C is actually brown. So Steve thinks that the most common surface is brown. Well, he's not wrong, but that is wrong. All right, between Bevan and Kat.
Hey!
Hey, it's clay. Well done, Kat. You're now leading on 20 points.
Goodness me.
Question number 5. In the last episode of Dishing the Dirt, I asked strangers if they preferred the smell of burning methanol or what. Was it A, croque monsieur, B, pan-fried halloumi, or C, smashed avocado? Big fans of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Time is up! You're all losers. It is C, smashed avocado. On to question 6.
You're falling off.
I know. Which is the southernmost track? Is it A, Western Springs, B, Woodford Glen, or C, Eldora? Steve was in there first.
Woodford Glen.
Ah, correct. Well done, Steve. Question number 7. Which is the city that is closest to Oreti Park Speedway? Is it A, Dunedin? Is it B, Auckland, or is it C, New York? Steve again.
Dunedin.
Yes, well done, Steve. He's on a roll. Question number 8. In the last New Zealand Modified Champs, Blair McPhee was pitted against which driver in the runoff for second place? Was it A, Brendan Hartley, B, Luke Brown?
It's B, Luke Brown.
Well done, Bevan. You're on the board with 10 points. Number 9. Which spunky speedway driver was on Married at First Sight? Was it A, Dan Corrin, B, Damon Smith, or C, Jordan Deere? Bevan.
C, Jordan Deere.
Yes, he knows his spunky speedway drivers, this man. Number 10. Which of the following adjustable parts is permitted in some classes of speedway? Is it adjustable Johnson rods, adjustable floor mats, or adjustable shocks? Steve.
C, shocks.
Well done. Are you sure it's not adjustable floor mats?
Well, it could be. It could be, but they adjust themselves if you roll.
Yes. Well done, Steve. And that concludes Heat 1. Congratulations to Steve, who is leading on 40 points. Coming in second place at the moment is Bevan on 30 points, and losing is Kat on 20.
What can I say?
Obviously not the right answers. Welcome to Heat 2 of Speedway Yes Way. In this round, we ask a question, and whichever contestant gets the closest answer gets the points. So, on to question number 1. How many Speedway New Zealand member tracks are there? Let's start with Bevan.
I say 17.
17. Kat.
12.
12. Steve.
21.
21 from Steve. The answer is 23. So Steve, you get the points. Well done. Question number 2. What is the minimum distance a Speedway New Zealand member track can be? Let's start this time with Steve. Gonna have to push you there, Steve.
475 metres.
475 metres from Steve. Kat.
We'll go 320.
320 from Kat. And Bevan.
We'll go 319.
319 from Bevan, and the answer is 250 metres, so Bevan picks up the points by 1 metre. That's cheeky. You see what he did there? That was good.
Awesome.
Question number 3. How many issues of the New Zealand Dirt Track Racing magazine have there been so far? Now let's start with Kat. I'm going to have to push you for an answer there, Kat.
We will say 13.
13. Steve.
1,042.
1,042. Bevan.
Let's go 76.
Bevan went with 76. The answer is 409. So Bevan once again with the closest answer. All right, question number 4. What's the lap record for a sprint car at Western Springs? Let's start with Bevan.
Let's go 13.6.
13.6 from Bevan.
Yep.
Kat.
We'll go 11.
11 from Kat. Steve.
12.4.
12.4 from Steve. Well, the answer is 11.421. So well done to Kat, who picks up the points.
Nice.
And of course, that was set by James McFadden in December 2014, which I'm sure you all remember now that I've said it.
No.
No, fair enough. Question number 5. What's the maximum wheel width for a TQ midget? Now let's start with Steve. Gonna have to push for an answer there, Steve.
Pass.
Pass.
Wouldn't have a clue.
Oh, Kat.
800.
800
Millimetres.
Yeah, that word.
millimeters.
That's the one.
Awesome. And Bevan.
Let's go 750 mil.
750 mil from Bevan. Well, the answer is 1,677 mil. So, Kat, you do take the points. Well done. On to question number 6 and the final question for Heat 2. Under Speedway New Zealand rules, what is the maximum engine capacity allowed for a stock car? Let's start with Kat.
Oh, no. It's whatever CC, I can't remember.
Whatever CC from Kat. Bevan.
4 litre, but
How many cubic centimetres is in 4 litres?
oh god, you're asking so.
Gonna have to push you for an answer there, Bevan. 3,
No idea.
2. Okay, Steve, you have to say a number and you win.
240.8.
240.8.
Yep.
Lovely. Steve, you win because you're the only one that gave me an answer. Well, if you were interested in the answer, which some people are, the answer was 4,072 cc's, which is just over 4 litres. And that is Heat 2. After Heat 2, Steve is still in the lead on 60 points. And in second place, eating Steve's dust, is Bevan on 50 points. And dead last, once again, is Kat on 40 points. But it's a very close game, so now we have a pole shuffle. Now on to the poll shuffle. So for the poll shuffle, each contestant will get 30 seconds each to answer as many questions as they can. And the contestant leading after the poll shuffle will get an extra 20 points for the championship feature final. Bevan, your time starts now. What is the name of the Speedway star who recently starred on The Bachelorette?
Pass.
Quinn Ryan. What's the name of the Wellington Superstock team?
The Wildcats.
Correct. Name the international stock car driver who competed in New Zealand the past season.
Pass.
Frankie Wyman Jr. What track is the New Zealand Modified Champs to be held at this year?
Stratford.
Woodford Glen. What's it called when a competitor makes their way up the inside down low into the corner to take a position? Slide job. What does he and your time is up. Bevan, that was terrible. So that now puts you on to 70 points. So let's hope the other two do a terrible job. Just leave that. All right, Kat, we're looking to beat Bevan and you're wanting to come from behind to take the lead. Your time starts now. A yellow light requires a driver to do what?
Stop.
Nope, slow down. In a heads-up speedway race between Aaron and Vince, who would win?
Vince.
Neither. Speedway would win. What track is the Superstock Champs being held this year?
The Superstocks. They are Palmerston North.
Rotorua. What is the most common type of race fuel used in Speedway?
Ethanol.
Incorrect, methanol. What does a red light require a driver to do?
Stop.
Correct, and your time is up. Steve still has his pole shuffle to go. Steve, your time starts now. What New Zealand Speedway legend won 6 world championships?
Ivan Major.
Well done. In a running race between the two well-known Speedway commentators, Stu Russell and Billy Hickey, who would win?
Stu Russell.
Speedway would win on the day. What track is the New Zealand Saloon Champs being held this year?
Pass.
Riverside. What is the surname of the legendary sprint car driver Donny?
Hanson.
Incorrect. Shats.
Oh,
Shots.
that's
Shots. What track is the New Zealand Sprint Car Champs being held this year?
Palmerston North.
Bay Park, and time is up. Well done, Steve. You got one correct, which means you are in first equal with Bevan. We need a tie break. So, it's going to be a buzzer round. First to answer these questions, first to 3 gets the extra 20 points heading into the feature final. Are you ready?
Yep.
Kat, you can sit this one out. Bevan and Steve, first question. At what point in a race is it okay for a fan to jump the fence and streak around the field? Steve.
No point at all.
Correct. Well, it depends what you look like, but yeah, no, never.
true.
For legal point purposes, it's never. Second question. What is the largest selling food item in a speedway? Steve was first in.
Can't you tell? Yeah, hot dogs.
Hot dogs is correct. It's 2-0. Come on, Bevan, come on. Only one more right for Steve and he gets those 20 points. What is the name of the most common restraint device used by race cars drivers? Oh, let's pretend Bevan got there first.
Hans device.
That is correct. What track is the New Zealand Super Saloon Champs being held this year? Bevan.
Was it Woodford Glen?
It's Waikaraka Park, Bevan. I'm afraid that you got that one incorrect. What bridge are the cars required to go to immediately after winning a New Zealand? Oh, Bevan!
The Weybridge.
That is correct, Bevan. We're tied. Whoever gets this next question correct gets the 20 points heading into the feature. Name one of the 2 most common tyre brands in Speedway. Steve.
Who's here?
Correct, and Steve Steve with the win and the 20 points heading into this feature final. Well done, Steve.
Thank you very much.
How did you find that?
Very difficult.
You must be knackered after such a long pole shuffle.
Absolutely.
Bevan, how did you feel in that?
Going into overtime, I was definitely in for the long haul.
Yes, yep, you felt you had enough energy in the end there?
Yeah, had a flat right rear and fell behind, yeah.
Yeah, but you came back there. You came back from 2-0.
Wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Just didn't get past in the last corner.
That's correct. All right, so heading into the feature final, we have Steve on 90 points, Bevan on 70, and Kat on 60. It's a very tight race, and I can't wait. Alrighty, we're finally made it to the feature final of Speedway Yes Way. We have Steve leading on 90 points, Bevan in second place on 70 points, and Kat sitting on third place on 60 points. So it's very tight. Let's get into the feature final. Question number 1. What is the name of the southernmost speedway in New Zealand? Steve.
Arete Park.
Incorrect, Steve. You'll find that 50 metres down the road is Riverside Speedway.
That's the one.
That's the one. -10 for Steve. Number 2. Who's recently been announced as the newest track promoter of Western Springs? Bevan was in there first.
Bruce Robertson.
Correct. Bruce Robertson for number 2. Number 3. Who's the current street stock 1NZ?
Oh, what's his name?
Kat.
Mike King.
Correct, it's Mike King.
Oh.
Number 4. How many minutes after a race at a Speedway New Zealand event does a driver have to raise a protest? Kat.
Isn't it like 15 minutes?
Correct, Kat. Well done. After 4 questions, we're all tied on 80. It is anyone's game. Question number 5. What speedway class compete in the War of the Wings series? Steve.
Super modifieds.
Excuse me?
Sprint cars.
He said super modified, ladies and gentlemen.
Remove 10.
I think we move 100 for that.
Yeah.
No, Steve, you were correct on your second answer, was for sprint cars, but we do need to take your first answer, which was super modifieds. Number 6. What city is the NZ Superstock Teams Champs held each year? Kat.
Palmerston North.
Well done, Kat. Palmerston North is correct. Number 7. Which spunky speedway driver, Bevan, you'll know this one, was in Married at First Sight? Bevan.
Jordan Deere.
Yes, I knew you'd know it, Bevan. Bit of a weakness there. Number 8. Who's the current naming rights sponsor for Woodford Glen? Steve.
Koken.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Number 9. The Raiders are a stock car team from which region? Steve. Must push you there for an answer.
Give it to somebody else.
That is incorrect. That is not a region. It is Waikato. Steve, that's -10 points, which unfortunately puts you in third place with 5 questions to go on 70 points. In the lead, we have a tie for first with Kat and Bevan, both on 90. Let's head into those final questions. What class of speedway does Randall Tarrant compete in? Bevan.
Superstocks.
Correct. Well done, Bevan, pushing out into first place. And what speedway class do drivers not know which direction they'll be racing in? Kat.
Street stocks.
Correct, it is street stocks. The majority of speedway cars race in which direction? Steve was first there.
Anti-clockwise.
Correct, Steve, it is anti-clockwise. Well done, Steve. With 3 questions to go, you could still take it out. Quite unlikely, though. What speedway changed its controversial stock car and super stock teams champs flag? Bevan.
Rotorua.
Correct, it was Rotorua. Number 14. Which cricket star has bought a modified for this season? Steve.
Nathan Astle.
Correct, it is Nathan Astle. Well done. Right, we come down to the last question. Bevan leading on 110 points, Kat in second on 100, and Steve sitting on 90. Very close. Last question. How many people usually stand on a podium? Kat.
3.
Well done, it is Kat. You have just taken first place, equal with Bevan. We have a draw, ladies and gentlemen. But we can't have a draw, can we?
Nope.
It's a runoff!
Come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end. Almost. After the feature final, we have a draw for first place, but as you know, in Speedway, there are no draws. Bevan and Kat, who will be the winner? One of you two, because Steve is not going to be the winner, but he can stand there and watch. Alright, it is time for a runoff between Bevan and Kat. I'm going to give you 3 questions. The best out of those 3 questions is the champion. Are you ready, Bevan?
Yes.
Kat, are you ready?
I think so.
That's the spirit. Let's get on with it. Question number 1. What track is the New Zealand Midget Champs being held this year? You're both wrong. It is Western Springs.
I was gonna say that, but I was like-
On to the second of 3 questions. In a stock car rollover competition, who gets the jackpot? Kat.
The person that rolls them.
Correct, Kat. Well done. You've got 1. All you have to do is get this next question correct, and you will be the winner. Bevan, still in with a chance. Last question. In Speedway club rooms, is Fanta, Bubbles, or beer the most consumed beverage? Kat was first.
Bubbles.
Incorrect! Oh no! Oh no!
I was thinking all the kids drinking all the fizzy.
You don't give bubbles to kids.
I thought you were meaning like fizzy bubbles.
Oh, you are an innocent one. Bevan now has a chance to draw.
That's beer.
It is beer, Bevan. Well done. It is beer. We have another tie, a 1-1. One more question to separate the two. Are we ready?
Yes.
In which stock car team is Ethan Levine? Oh, that was so close, but it went to Bevan.
The Young Guns.
Well done, Bevan. It is the Wellington Young Guns, and you are the champion of Speedway. Yes way! Well done, Bevan. Come on out, come on out.
Thank you.
Very well done,
Thank you
mate.
very
I'm
much.
going to give you, this is yours to take home.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure here at Yes Way Speedway. This is what a winner looks like. Over there, that's some losers. Well done, Bevan. Have a good night.
Speedway, yes way, let's get out on the dirt and have a show. Speedway, ooh, yes way, let's start all the things that you love.
Yeah, I think the singer of that theme song really missed their calling in life.
Yeah, a calling to take a vow of silence.
That's rude. Anyway, moving on before you hurt my feelings even more. We've kept this next part till last as it's one of the best interviews we have ever conducted, where the top 3 of the sport come together and go through exactly what happened during the championship.
That's right, for the first time in modern history, the modified 1, 2 and 3 NZ came together for a tell-all interview where no question was off the table and no answer was let go.
So let's watch as Aaron sits down with the current New Zealand modified champion Brad Lane, 2 NZ Blair McPhee, and 3 NZ Luke Brown. Here it is.
Okay, so we're here at the Garrett 16 New Zealand Modified Championships at the Max Motors Wellington Family Speedway.
Trying to secure this one for 30 odd years, you know, so for a second generation to drive it to get it is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll have to hang on for another 4 laps, but yeah, if it's second or third, mate, it's still a number I'm stoked. I just can't
Apparently
believe
it might
really.
be second equal, but yeah, enough for a number at least.
Okay, welcome to the studio. We've got an exclusive interview tonight with 1, 2, 3 NZ. We've got Brad Lane, Blair McPhee and Luke Brown. Okay, so thanks very much for coming. The first thing I'm going to get onto is a very nice light question. How many years have you guys been racing together and who's the best out of the 3 years?
Oh yeah, so I started modified racing in 2015, so it's been 5 years now. And then I also did mini stocks for 4 years, I think.
And you, Blair?
I started from 2002 with some first of the mini stock. So yeah, it works out to be about
17, 18 years now, so yeah.
And Luke, what about you, mate?
Started in mini stocks when I was 12, did 5 seasons in the mini stock. I think this is my 6th season in the modified just completed, so.
Next thing I'd like to touch on is how's the plans coming for the upcoming season? I'll go through that with you guys individually. Brad, why don't you kick things off there, mate?
So we obviously had the season cut short. I think we lost out on about 4 or 5 meetings off down to Christchurch and Harrisville and stuff. So a few little pieces that we're working on to obviously try and keep ahead of the competition.
And Blair, how about you?
We're all sitting there nice and fresh, front end's back in it and diffs in there, new bodies getting made now, and that's about it really. Motor's getting freshened up and we're good to go really.
Yep, because you had a new motor for last season and a little bit of change, a little bit innovative, some thought a little bit questionable for whatever reason.
Yeah, everyone's open to their opinion on it.
Do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of the actual truth with that one?
Oh, actual truth. Okay. Well, there still seems to be a lot of shit. Well, not a lot of shit, but a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of rumours getting thrown around still. But basically, I did a fair bit of research, about 18 months worth with our engine builder. Come up with an LS motor, and it's full steel, which it's OME.
It's in the rules.
It's in the rules. It's got to be steel. It's got to have steel heads, steel block, all good. And basically, LS is its own motor, so it's OME. Anything on it's OME. Seems to be a lot of problems with the hair angles on it and stuff like that, so that's what's getting thrown around.
Oh yeah.
But it's not a Chevy block, it's an LS block, so perfectly legal.
Steel.
OME, and it's all been through New Zealand, so we wouldn't have built it for no reason. And the reason we built it is to try and make a cheaper engine for everyone to come in. Like the old Chevy stuff's still pretty expensive. You can you build an engine from scratch out of steel out of a Chevy, you're still looking 30, 35 grand from scratch. Shit, we can sort of put one together for 25 grand.
Innovation.
Say the word innovation somewhere.
Okay, sweet.
I like to innovate.
So definitely not a case of a legal engine from Blair's side of it. This is more about innovation.
That's so cool.
And how's things looking for you, Luke? You cars ready or what to do?
No, probably not. It's probably one of the quietest off seasons I'd say in the last, over probably like 10 years of racing. Obviously COVID knocked us back a bit, and obviously it's been a bit difficult trying to find, I guess, financial support a little bit. So, I mean, for a lot of business owners, they're probably a bit in limbo. So we just kind of stripped everything apart, give it a clean, and it's pretty much going back together. We got the chassis sandblasted and powder coated by old mate at Boss Powder Coating, Dean Shadbolt. He did a real good job. So that's all done, and pretty much from here on in, we'll put it all back together, and that's her.
I started bloody dozing off there. It's not a good start.
Don't be doing that. You're very interested in what all your colleagues are saying, remember? It's like, wow, Luke, really? You just got it sandblasted and powder coated? I'm so excited for you, mate. So Luke, a bit of a question for you. So 2019, you took out the 1NZ, the New Zealand Champs title, and then you came back last year and you put the 3NZ on the car. And although it wasn't a repeat putting the 1NZ back on there, it is certainly not easy to come back and repeat that. So you'd be pretty damn happy being able to put a sticker on the car. How did it go in terms of getting that 1NZ and then coming back and trying to defend it? Tell us a little bit about the defending side of things.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. It was always a dream to get a number, but get 1NZ. I mean, that's why we all race. To get 1NZ at my home track, that was pretty cool. And then we knew kind of heading into Wellington for the Champs 2020 was going to be super tough. And I guess I put a bit of pressure on myself. And you're not the benchmark, but you do have that number 1 on the car. So guys kind of want to take that off you. So.
Okay, so we're here with the current 1NZ, Luke Brown. One whole year has rolled around, mate, and it's time to defend your title. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's gone pretty quickly, but
Yeah, I guess I'm not as nervous as I probably thought I'd be. I was happy with how the weekend went, and yeah, to back it up with another number was seriously cool.
And for you, Blair, obviously that was your first time grabbing a number at the New Zealand Champs. That must have been a pretty awesome feeling, because you've been involved in racing quite a long time, and your family and your dad and all of that sort of stuff. Pretty proud moment for the McPhees, I'd say, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. We all set out to get the one, that's the plan, but to have any number was just a goal. And being close twice, we've been fourth twice over the years. And I just can't believe that it really happened. It's still a little bit surreal, actually, but you get to go in the shed and you see a number, and yeah, I think it just means a lot to me and to my family, really. More dad and that, and it was good to get one over him, because he's only been 3 twice, so 2's always better than 3.
And then now I guess the next one's to take it off your good mate here, right?
That's the plan of it, yeah. Unfortunately, but yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're going to Christchurch for. So
yeah, deal. And for you, Brad, obviously putting the 1NZ on the car, it's you know as well as anyone, that's not an easy thing to do. It's something you and you know your dad have tried for, and your dad's obviously a big part of the success of the team too.
Yeah, obviously you always, like Luke said, you always dream of it, you know, just sort of something you always dream of. As a little kid, obviously all our fathers have raced and modified, so you sort of, that's what you're aiming for, and then obviously the opportunity comes your way, and you know, you get to win it, and it's like, wow, this is really quite impressive, you know, and sort of all very surreal, as I'm sure Luke would have been in the same position when he got it. And you sort of just, yeah, it's nuts, especially when you've been trying for so long, you know. Like Dad came close a couple of times, obviously got a 2NZ, and he was close to winning it once in Rotorua, but somebody took him out. But that's just the way that the sport goes, you know. A lot of it's just luck, and then sometimes it falls in your place, and it did for us on that weekend in Wellington, you know.
Trying to secure this one for 30 odd years, you know, so for a second generation to drive it to get it is just unbelievable. Obviously we had to fight our way through, and you know, there's a bit of rubbing out there, but people say rubbing's racing. As they all say, it hasn't hit yet, and it really hasn't. It's all still a bit of a blur. Yeah, we struggled with this car to start off with, but man, is it a rocket ship now, man. It proved it tonight. You know, it's in our blood, and this is what we do.
Congratulations, Brad Lane, 1NZ.
Yeah, cheers guys, thank you very much.
Okay, so look, you obviously touched a little bit on the New Zealand Champs and it being a good night. It'd be really cool to hear from each of them. We'll start with you, Luke. Just heading into that final race, can you remember how the situation was for points and where you were starting from and kind of what transpired?
I can, kind of, because I always analyse everything and all the numbers and figures, but yeah, I remember Brad was at the front. I think he was on 38 points. Jonas was back another 3 points. I was back another 3 points. And then Foxy was 3 behind me. So actually at the time, I didn't actually think Blair was in contention, to be 100% honest. Sorry, mate. Just throw under the bus. But no, at the time I kind of thought, because I was off grid 13 for the feature, Jonas was at the front somewhere, mid to front. And I know Brad was a little bit behind me. So kind of as we took off, stayed with Foxy. We kind of were swapping positions, and I think I got past him once, he got past me, and then he was in front of Paul, then I got past Paul, so it was pretty close, and then I pretty much just had to stay on his tail, and I figured that would pick up a number. Then I saw Jonas, unfortunately with him and I think it was Paul and Dan Ray got together, unfortunately for Jonas, because there's a very good chance that he could be sitting on this couch and potentially I'm not. So I saw him kind of struggling through the field and managed to pass him probably later on in the race. Once I saw kind of Jonas move down the field and I was within Foxy's reach, I kind of thought, oh yeah, that's a number. Not sure which one, but I was pretty happy with that. But that's kind of my recollection of events.
Yeah, cool. And Blair, for you, sort of, did you know you had a shot at it before you went into that final race, or?
Nah, so it was quite good to be the little dark horse hiding around everywhere. But
otherwise might have taken you out.
Yeah, you might have got one back. Nah, so basically every time I look at points, it turns to shit. Basically, it's the easiest way to put it. So I knew I was somewhere, but I didn't. No, it was actually 6 on points, I think it was in the end. But yeah, went out the last heat, and I knew. I think it was Damon wasn't in there, so I had. Yeah, he was on grid 1 and Jacko was on grid 2.
Damon Smith, it doesn't look like has made it out after that issue that looked quite terminal, so Looks like John Jackson is going to get the jump at the front of this last heat.
That was good 3. I was like, oh man, I was up against it. I was had, Jacko, he just goes like a cut cat. He's a machine. He just loves the gas.
All or nothing too.
He's just all or nothing, mate. And I was like, right, if I got to do something, all I got to do is win. I've got to beat him. And yeah, it'll be probably the hardest, fastest race I've ever driven. Yep. Yeah, and I think it was probably about lap, or maybe 16 or something. I managed to get. Well, I think I had 2 stabs at him. And then, I think it was about lap 16, I got up inside of him. And I was just like, I just knew I had to hold it together. Yeah. But I thought it was probably 3. I actually thought it was 3. Yeah, but then we were obviously second equal.
Yeah, it was second equal, and we'll talk a little bit about that shortly. And what about for you, Brad, heading into that last race, because you did go in the points leader into the last race, so no pressure, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of usually the dude that's crashed out already and sort of not sort of in that position, so it was quite of a weird one for me.
2019 was an interesting champs for you because you had the crash and then the big rebuild of the car. So anyway, carry on.
We're usually sort of in that position, unfortunately, where we got to try and come through from the back of the pack on a one-race deal, but somehow it all worked in our favour and we were top on points going into the last one. But obviously we were right off the back, so sort of just had a mindset of just trying to finish, stay out of the way, and then the race gets going and Tomo blows by me and I'm in dead last going nowhere. I'm going, you got to sort it out, otherwise you're just going to end up with nothing. So sort of get going a little bit, and then they're all banging into each other in front of you and you go, no, I just want to finish, and then sort of clicked and you're like, right, I've just got to go and do it. It's now or never. So it just sort of moved up the top and got a few cars.
Some good space between him and Luke Brown. Brad Lane coming around the outside. I did not expect to see him there.
And then, snuck back down the bottom. Like Luke said, the track was quite good and you could move everywhere. So, we're sort of just moving around the track, getting a few cars here and there, and then obviously came up on Jonas, who was struggling, and sort of got by him.
You're going to have to watch out, or Brad's going to be changing that number from 119 and just keeping the first number in that sequence.
And passing Dean Owens like he's standing still, making a move on Hayden Corbett. I have a feeling he's got him as he going past Jonas England as well. 3 cars, 1 turn, only Brad Lane.
Oh, well, that is potentially the move of the week.
And then you're sort of looking ahead, and I seen Luke. I said, I think I might have done enough here. I was sort of just, Luke had sort of already checked out a little bit, and so I was just trying to run the top and, stay smooth and consistent and, try and wheel him in, but sort of knowing that you'd kind of done enough, hopefully, that we're sort of just cruising around there. And then old Hayden Corbett wanted to try and pass us. He was having a good run, and
yeah, he was, yes.
I sort of seen him down there, and I was like, right, I've got to try and get a good run off turn 1 and 2 so I can sort of sneak back down the bottom. Anyway, sort of cleared him and got down there, but just obviously wasn't quite enough, and we sort of come together.
Everything he possibly can. Oh, Hayden Corbett trying to go up the inside of Brad Lane there.
Which was a bit unfortunate for him because he was going really quite well. So, and then sort of right rear tyre decided to had enough and started going down. So, we just pushed.
Do you feel that fairly early on when that starts happening, or?
You sort of look back at it now, and once I got past Jonas and I was trying to reel in Luke, the car wasn't as good as it was before, and you sort of going, it was a bit late now, it's the last race, I can't do anything. So, sort of just humming along, and once the caution came out, and I sort of clicked like, the tyre's going down. So, sort of just trying to keep a bit of heat in it and stuff on the caution, and then just trying not to delaminate the thing once you go racing, just, trying to light it up. So, sort of just cruising around, trying to hold my position, and Paul thankfully gave us a bit of room and we got by another car, but then Dean Owens blew by us sort of up along the wall, so I was like, just want to finish, so but obviously came through the checkered flag. And
what position were you in at the checkered flag, can you remember?
9th or something, 8th or 9th I think, so we weren't close to the front at all. It was a bit of a bit of time there where you don't know where you sort of sit, but to finish all 3 races was great, I'm going to tell you that.
As we touched on before, it was a tie for second after that final race in the New Zealand Champs, so you had to wait for that information that you guys were tied on points and then back off out there for a runoff. And the race was kind of good and exciting, but it was effectively over before it started because there was an inquiry afterwards, I believe. You would want to talk us through kind of what happened there? It doesn't matter who.
Yeah, I'll start it. Okay, yeah. No, I was like, yeah, hey, we'll start again, ain't I? Yeah, it was sort of, just come around to the, Luke wanted to rub wheels a bit, so we rubbed wheels all the way around. And I was like, oh, come on, man, just give us a break. But it was all right. And then sort of got to the line, and there's a couple of videos of it, but there's one where Luke's in front, and then there's one where Luke's not in front. It looks even. But hey, I still sort of don't understand why the ref didn't go to yellow and make it a full restart. Yep. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. You know what I mean? And I'll vouch for that every day. You get your second chance. Yep. And then then it should have been dealt with in the referee's box. But hey, the ref was good all weekend. I'm not saying he wasn't, but this is probably just one. Yeah.
I definitely think you could be every single move that someone makes in a race. You could. C14-3, he put a wheel on the pole, or he used the wall to his advantage. You'd be there all week, every race, just look. You'd be there for a long time sorting out a whole lot of stuff. And it's just one of those things. Like Blair said, you look at one view. I'm in front. I definitely believe I was in front, but kind of my interpretation was because there was a box. My interpretation, if both cars are in the box, then you can go. If it was a line or no line, then 100% I reckon I jump the start. But my whole thing with a box is if both cars are in, albeit this or this, the rule actually says the race commences when both cars are in the box, it was only a little annoying for my end because we had one guy in the box who was, I agree 100% with what you're saying, and then the ref who wasn't. So when even those two are button heads,
So there's be a bit of a clarification on that rule.
Yeah, it's just a grey area. The fact that we still got a number, I was just, and me and Blair were actually parked next to each other, and I know how much it meant to you and your family, but whatever way it was, I know we were stoked, you guys were stoked, it's just racing, you got to kind of move on. And
we already had the 3 on the car. That's we had taken Foxy's 3 and put it on our car.
Yeah.
We were like, it was us, and then it just happened. Yeah. So, but it's like the following week, I think we all went and raced in Rotorua.
Yeah, it's all good.
No dramas, mate. We're not going to hold any grudges.
So with the major titles that are on this year, the North Island, South Island, the New Zealands and the GP, starting with Brad and working our way that way, which way are you, how many of those do you guys think you'll be into?
Yeah, so we're going to try and get down to South Islands at this stage. We'll just have to see how the old budget holds up, but that's our plan. We enjoy going down to Christchurch. We go down there every year for the Invasion, so we're really looking forward to it. We all raced there last season at the Invasion, and it was some pretty cool racing actually. It was
it's a good track.
It was badass. Yeah. So and then obviously we'll do the New Zealand Champs down there, and then head over to Greymouth and do the GP and the old gold nugget feature. I think that'll be something quite cool and different. Yep. Take home a piece of gold if you're lucky enough, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool idea.
So other than that, we're just going to try and do a few home meetings and stuff, and go from there. Try and keep it a little bit tamed, but obviously get around when we can. So. Yep.
Sure. What about you, Blair?
Basically, at this stage, depending on whether we're running in Wellington on opening night, and if we're not, we're going to hit the boat running and just go straight to Christchurch for opening night and have a crack there. Sort of try and get down for the South Islands. Probably try and do two trips down there at least before. Do the New Zealands and Christchurch, go to Greymouth, sort of make a holiday of it with family.
So is your dad going to be is he going to race again this year? Is he going to be year 41 or 42?
I think it's 43 this year actually.
43 years, jeez.
Yeah, he's mental.
Jason Kalen, Brian McPhee, they're going to be the 2 qualifiers for the Rapid Charge.
No, I think he's just going to probably do what he wants to do, I think, instead of...
He's kind of in the right.
Yeah, he's in the right. He can just sort of, if he wants to hop in
for the sport,
go out for a bit of stress relief, really, and jump in and have a skid, and then he'll just sort of do what he wants. Yeah.
Wonder if we could ever get Scotty versus Brian
They both end upside down. Yeah, but
all three.
Yeah, they'll all be upside down.
But the last time I seen Greg drive a modified didn't end very well.
No, it was practice day at sponsors day.
Yeah.
At Waikaika Park, and they ran a few different classes together. I think he's trying to go around a mini sprint or something, and then
the lady got a bit
this thing go. So not ideal. And that was.
You should have the cameras there. It was a bit of biffle, I think.
It was good. But no, yeah. So I think Dad's kind of accepted that he'll stick to crew duties and leave the driving to me.
Yep, absolutely. And I know with your season, you're still finalising your calendar. I do know that, but you'll be back. You're pretty confident about being back at the New Zealand Champs to see if you can put a number on the car for a third year straight.
Yeah. So unfortunately, due to COVID, we lost our naming rights sponsor, SG Equipment, Yale Forklifts. But I mean, it's pretty crazy times out there in the world. So it is what it is there. Fortunately, we've had Pallet Supplies come on as naming rights sponsor this year, so we've just finalised that. We have lost a couple more, so we're still kind of in the process here. But the plan at this stage is definitely go to New Zealand's, and yeah, that's kind of the plan. Do a few local championships up this way, head down. I think the North Islands are in Wellington again, so do the North Islands, do the New Zealands. We'll see about Greymouth, and then I think after that it'd really just be Easter at Rotorua, and then I think that might be it really. But
so the New Zealand Champs, they've been in the North Island the last few years, and they're obviously in the South Island this year, and we've been keeping a bit of an eye on the South Island too. We're going to be going down. We're obviously the naming rights sponsor for the New Zealand Champs. They've got a massive contingent of cars down there, and we got a little bit of a taste of the South Island modified drivers. We had a replacement come to the Modified Super Series. Michael Gawley came up here and blitzed the whole damn thing. So there's some really good competition down there. There's some amazing competition up here, and we know the event's going to be supported well. So how do you guys see it in terms of the South Island competition, the competition overall? This class seems like it's never been stronger than this.
Yeah, so that's sort of why we always go down to Christchurch every year, because almost all the cars down there are just as competitive as each other. So you really do get to learn some good racecraft down there, and almost every car there is competitive. So you really got to work for anything that you get down there, sort of thing. So it's going to be one hell of a meeting, I'd say. So yeah, and there'd probably be just as many North Island as South Island guys, hopefully, that sort of turn up. So should be able to put on a real good show for the crowd, and then have some enjoyment.
Yeah, it'd probably be the biggest New Zealand title. I think that it's going to be around for a little while, I reckon. Yeah, they'll be in the high 30s of cars, I reckon, this year. It's pretty... you can't beat the track. It'll be one of the best tracks in the country.
Yeah, well, I see Nathan Astel's bought a car, and it's not too often we see sprint car guys heading over to modifieds, and we don't know Nathan personally, so it's not an assumption about that, but he's bought a good car with the 82C car, and because Steve decided for a couple of weeks he was getting out and sold his car, and they went, no, actually. So I know he's got another car coming up. Few rumours as well in and around the potential for Hayden Mackay maybe to run as well. He had a very, very nasty accident. I know he's still recovering, so yeah, hopefully potentially we might see him pedaling again.
Yeah, Hayden's car's up at Trebs at the moment, sort of sitting there ready to be fixed, but I think he's picked up another car somewhere, so we'll...
Yeah, well, that's the rumour. So all the good rumours and all that sort of stuff. So it has been an absolute pleasure having you guys here, being able to bring the 1, 2 and 3 NZ from the modifieds onto the show. Brad's come all the way down from Hunley. Luke's come down from Auckland, and Blair's pretty much round the corner. But
I'd come over the hill.
Yeah, had to come over the hill. But it is absolutely awesome to be able to get access. It's one of the great things about Speedway. Getting on and promoting the sport. We know media is not necessarily everyone's thing, but we certainly appreciate it. I know the fans appreciate finding out a little bit about what's going on in your guys' world and what's happening, and definitely what's coming up for the modified class this season, and we'll have lots more information and news on the modifieds coming up as we progress through the show, as well as looking at other classes. So a big thank you to Brad and Blair and Luke for coming on Dishing the Dirt. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
No, appreciate it. Thanks, boys.
I love that interview, and I'll tell you why. It's not often you get the top 3 of a sport together and they're willing to answer all the tricky questions like the rumours and the conspiracy theories, especially when they concern each other.
Yes, there was definitely a lot of incredible moments in there, and that was the edited version. We'll have a full extended version coming out later on in the year, so keep your eye out for that.
That's right, you can keep an eye out for what we are up to on Facebook and Instagram, and you can watch all of our stuff on our website, gareth16media.com, or our YouTube channel, the link for which is in the comments section below.
I can't even explain how much I love the stuff that we've got coming up on the next few episodes. I can't wait until we release them. Until then, I've been Aaron.
And I've been Vince. We're from Gareth16, and you've been watching Dishing the Dirt.
See you next time.